So actually wrote a little something down to be responsible for once. So my name is Matthew Zapruder, and I'm the editor-at-large at Wave Books. And tonight, we're just so honored to be at City Lights, all of us from Wave Books. Wave is an independent poetry publishing house located in Seattle, Washington, and it began as Verse Press in 1999. The poet Brian Henry and I founded it in Western Massachusetts, not realizing what that was going to entail. It's gone on to become Wave Books. It became Wave Books in 2005. It started out in my apartment in Northampton, Massachusetts. Its publisher is Charlie Wright, and its editor-in-chief is Joshua Beckman. And as Peter mentioned, our managing editor, Heidi Broadhead, is here tonight, which we're so pleased about. And anything good that happens with Wave happens because of her. Nothing good can happen without her. So maybe we can just even give her a little bit. As I said, I work as an editor-at-large. I live down here in Oakland, and I teach at the St. Mary's College of California MFA program and English department. Yeah. So one of the most important roles of an independent publishing house is to be part of an essential mechanism or community or organism or cacophony or monster or cloud system or army of gorgeous, mostly futile commercial futility. You choose the metaphor, made up of publishers, booksellers, distributors, reading series, writing programs, other writers, and many other generous and thoughtful individuals and entities, all of whom participate together in the vital function of bringing literature to the public and vice versa. At Wave, we consider independent bookstores, along with readers and authors, to be our most important co-conspirators in the work of keeping culture and our culture alive. And City Lights is the greatest of all the independent bookstores. Probably because, among other things, it is itself run by authors and readers of the highest caliber. And also because City Lights is, of course, a legendary publisher, as you all know, one of the originals and still one of the best in the land, which makes us at Wave its respectful younger sibling. All of us at Wave Books are, as I said earlier, honored to be friends, family, and fellow travelers with City Lights. I want to give special thanks tonight, not just for tonight, but more important for everything City Lights does, to Peter, who is awesome and who does this cool thing with the record player and sometimes even martinis, and sets up these amazing events. You all got to get on the calendar and check things out here. It's like the best readings in the city. And yeah, thank you, Peter. Paul's here. It's like a legend and so great to Wave and everybody. And this is going to be kind of dorky, but I think it would be remiss not to thank most of all Lawrence Ferlinghetti, who's our guidance spirit. He provides and continues to provide inspiration and spiritual and practical guidance to poets and anyone really in the independent literary world. And again, I mentioned Heidi's here, which is awesome. So tonight we're lucky to have 5 recent Wave authors reading. I will introduce them all now in alphabetical order, which is the order in which they will read. They will each read about 10 minutes, no more. And after that time, we will reconvene. They're professionals, so I'm not worried about it. I was just reassuring you all of their professionalism. And after that time, we'll reconvene and finish this wine. I think it's hilarious that no one's been drinking it, like as if there's one for each author. So you can come up and have a glass of wine, check out the books, buy lots of books here. You know, not that this place is any danger of not surviving, because they sell gazillion books, if only to all the German tourists. But you know, we need independent bookstores, and we need you all to buy your books here, not other evil places that don't exist in any physical location in Seattle. I wasn't referring to Wave Books. So like I said, I'll introduce them all in alphabetical order, and then after that, I'm sure they'll all be happy to chat with you and sign books and just hang out, and then probably we're going to end up over at Vesuvio. I'm not a fucking prophet, but my guess is that we will end up over there having a drink. So without further ado, the 5 people who will read, and we'll get up and do it without any further interference. So Garrett Caples is the author most recently of Retrievals, 2014. That's the Wave Books book he's going to be reading from. Also the Garrett Caples Reader, Complications, and the Quintessence of the Minor. He is the co-editor of the collected poems of Philip Lamantia. He is the poetry editor at City Lights Books. Whew. and curates the Spotlight poetry series there. He's a contributing writer to the San Francisco Bay Guardian, and he has a PhD in English from the University of California, Berkeley, and lives in San Francisco. That's Garrett. Anthony McCann was born and reared. It says raised, but they raise pigs, they rear people, as my 10th grade English teacher told me. Anthony McCann was born and reared in the Hudson Valley. He's the author of Thing Music, most recently Wave Books, 2014. I Heart Your Fate, also Wave Books. Moon Garden, Wave Books. And Father of Noise, his first book from the awesome publishing house Fence. In addition to these three collections, he is one of the authors of Gentle Reader, a book of erasures of the English Romantics, along with Joshua Beckman and Matt Rohrer. He lives in LA and teaches in the UC California Riverside Palm Desert MFA program. He is the, quote, poet laureate, close quote, of Machine Project, and also teaches courses at the California Institute of the Arts. That's Anthony McCann. Born in the Mekong Delta and raised in the Washington, D.C. area, like me, Nguyen studied poetics at the New College of California in San Francisco. That's where she got her MFA. She's the author of 3 full-length collections of poetry, including As Long as Trees Last, Hecate Lokia, that's how I pronounce it, is that right? Okay. Hecate Lokia, and Your Ancient See-Through. Red Juice, Poems, 1998 to 2008, was published by Wave Books in fall of 2014. God, that book is so good. With the poet Dale Smith, Nguyen founded Skanky Possum, a small press journal of poetry and poetics. From Austin, Texas, their home of 14 years, they published contemporary poets such as Amiri Baraka, Alice Notley, Lynn Dinn, Cameron Elmsley, and Eileen Miles. She currently lives in Toronto, Ontario, where she curates a reading series and teaches poetics privately and at Ryerson University. Cedar Sigo was raised on the Squamish Reservation in the Pacific Northwest and studied at the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics at Naropa. He's the author of 8 books and pamphlets of poetry, including Language Arts, from Wave Books, 2014. Stranger in Town, Expensive Magic, and 2 editions of selected writings. Those are essential collections. I urge you to get them from Ugly Duckling. He lives in San Francisco. I added this to his bio. Next spring, he will be teaching a graduate poetry workshop as a visiting writer at St. Mary's College of California, MFA. Finally, last but most assuredly not least, Rachel Zucker is the author of The Pedestrians, Wave Books 2014, and Museum of Accidents, Wave Books 2009, which was a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award. She is also the author of Mothers, from Counterpath, 2013, and the co-author with Ariel Greenberg of Home Birth, a Poemic, a nonfiction book about birth, friendship, and feminism. A graduate of Yale and our writer's workshop, Zucker teaches at NYU in the 92nd Street Y. She currently lives in New York City. Ooh, fancy. With her husband and 3 sons, and was awarded an NEA grant for Creative Writing Fellowship in 2012. Okay, that's all the prose you're going to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the authors of Wave Books.